Though about 45% of Israeli Jews label themselves as secular, Israeli society is a very, very traditional society connecting to many Jewish practices, rituals, and values that go back thousands of years. Let's explore this a little bit more. Shalom, my friends. It's the Kiva Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. Israel is a democratic country. People can live the way they want. They can choose their lifestyle. And of course, when it comes to religion, they can choose the religion. Of course, in addition to Judaism, there are other religions in the state of Israel. Even though Israel is known as the Jewish state, there is a sizable Muslim population, there's a Christian population, there is a Druze population, there is a Baha'i population even as well. But of course, the majority of Israelis are Jews. About 80% or so of Israelis are Jews, and within that 80%, there's quite a diversity of Judaism being practiced, quite a diversity of different Jewish identities and connections to Jewish tradition. And pretty much Israeli society is divided up into secular, traditional, and religious. When you look at the religious world, it's divided up into what people would call modern Orthodox and Ultra-Orthodox. And even the traditional kind of category of Israeli Jews has quite a range of lesser or greater connection to Jewish practice and tradition. But the interesting thing is that even within the quite large secular population in Israel, there still is a very, very deep Jewish pride and a very, very strong Jewish connection, which makes overall Israeli society a very traditional society. Again, people can choose whatever they want. If they don't want to fast on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the Jewish calendar, which is a fast day going back thousands of years, they don't have to, of course. If they don't want to keep Shabbat, of course, they don't have to. They can drive on Shabbat. They can cook on Shabbat. They can do whatever they want, right? But there is this strong sense of this is our tradition, and even if I'm not fully religious, an average Israeli might say, I still value our tradition. I connect to our tradition. I appreciate our tradition. So many Israeli families, in fact, I have a Friday night dinner for Shabbat, celebrating Shabbat, honoring Shabbat. Family members come over. They have a special meal. They'll say the blessings. They'll eat the traditional foods. And it's a big part of their lives, and it's an important part of their lives, even though they're not quote unquote religious. So we see this manifesting and being expressed in many different ways in Israeli society, this very traditional kind of leaning. Because once you put the traditional Jews and the religious Jews together, that's the majority of Israelis. But again, even when you look at the secular Jews in Israel, those who define themselves as secular, you still see many, many strong traditions. There's a tradition, as you might know, Jewish men putting on tefillin every morning and saying special prayers and blessings and saying a very special prayer called the Shema. Many secular Jews will do this. They'll put on tefillin every single day. They'll pray, even if it's just for a few minutes. It's not an uncommon sight to be passing a store that's just opening up in the morning, and the first thing that the store owner does is say his morning prayers, putting on this tefillin in his store shop, even though, again, he's not fully religious. So again, you see this in many different ways. Passover Seder, of course, across the board, secular to religious Jews all over Israel are having a Hanukkah, of course, a big celebration here in Israel. But all the holidays, again, even secular Jews are relating to them, connecting to them, celebrating and honoring them in their way, which again, very much still keeps in line with the tradition. Whether it's Passover, whether it's Shavuot, whether it's Sukkot, right? So many quote-unquote secular Jews still build the sukkah on Sukkot to dwell in it, and they'll have meals there. They'll invite friends and family over to sit in the sukkah together. Why? This is our culture, right? It's very interesting because the national culture, so to speak, of Israel is very much in line and interwoven into the religious culture. So it's a really beautiful thing to see that in Israel you don't have to be religious to take on many of these traditions and feel this real deep sense and connection and love for your Jewish tradition, for your heritage that goes back thousands and thousands of years. Right? And this is what makes Israeli society a very, very traditional society. All the best, my friends, and be well.